What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to jump into a quick fall market update. I'm going to give you an update on what's happening here in the Salt Lake City market, and then also if anybody jumps on, we will get a quick little Q&A busted out here. So hopefully some people jump on. We can take care of those items. Make sure to drop your comments in the comment section so I can answer them. Any questions that you might have, I'm happy to give you my perspective on. If you think about making that move here, or if you already have made the move here, if you want to invest in Salt Lake City or any of the surrounding areas, then just be sure to drop a question in the question box. So with that being said, let's jump into some of these market stats. So I've got them pulled up over here on my other computer screen. So I've got easy access to both sides. Right now, the market is still pretty crazy. If you saw my last video about the red hot market, the Salt Lake County Board of Realtors just released information about the market, saying that we had record home sales in Salt Lake County, over 2,000 sales for the month of July. August, it looks like it's going to be very close to that. The sales in August were down just slightly from the information that I'm seeing here. So all across our entire MLS system, which basically covers everything from the northern end of the state all the way to some portions of the southern part of the state. We do have a couple different MLS sections. So we've got one for Park City areas specifically. We've got the Wasatch Front MLS, which covers most of the state. And then there is one down south that covers St. George. So the MLS for the Wasatch Front is by far the biggest one. So it covers most of the sales that are happening here. But in the MLS overall, we had over 5,000 sales in the month of August. And that's for all counties, not just Salt Lake County necessarily. So I think Salt Lake County is going to come in somewhere, probably 1,900 sales for the month of August. We did see prices increase pretty significantly over just the last couple of months. Looking at the information here, in May of 2020 this year, we hit a low of 335,000. This is across all homes, all different cities, everything. So this isn't necessarily just one area or one particular home type. This is just the median. So 335,000 was the median. It bumped up to 348,000 in June, and then 355 in July, and then 360 in August. And right now for September, it's sitting at 365,000. So over just the past 4 months, we've already gone up $30,000 in sales for the median price. It was hovering around that 330 mark from December of 2019. It always does drop a little bit in the winter months here. You'll see that the median price will dip just slightly. So that's one thing to just kind of keep in mind. If you're looking to buy, it could be slightly better time to do so. So it was hovering about 330 for December, January, February, and then March it hit 340 before dipping back down to 336, 335 right as we ran into this whole illness problem. So anyway, that is a little bit of the market update. We're still seeing prices are selling at 100% of the list price on average. So if a home is listed for $400,000, on average, it's going to sell for $400,000 or possibly even a little bit higher. So there's always a balance, right? You've got some homes that sell for higher. You've got some homes that sell for lower, just based on where they were listed first with the market. So something to keep in mind there, that on average, homes are selling for 100%. So if you come into the market trying to say, hey, I'm looking for a special deal, you're going to have to search a little bit harder to be able to get that, to get some money off of the price. Just because it's so competitive out there right now. Interest rates are still super low. You can get rates in the low 3% range. And there's a lot of people looking to purchase. I've talked to numerous people over the past couple of weeks who have already made the move here or are getting ready to do so because they talked to their employer and they found out, hey, I'm going to be working from home pretty much permanently. So now's the time to make a move out of state. A lot of people coming from California, a lot of people from back east, especially the Northeast, New York, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maine, New Jersey, Philadelphia, all those areas. So people coming from all over, to be honest with you. If you guys have any questions, make sure to drop them in the question box. I see there's a couple people here on the live stream. Thank you for watching. Let me know what questions you've got about Salt Lake City, moving here, buying here, investing here, anything in general. I'm here to answer your questions. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I'd appreciate your support. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers here on the channel, so that's pretty exciting. Would love to get there as soon as possible. Talking a little bit more about the stats, the other thing I want to mention is that price per square foot, of course, is going up. The average price or the average size of a home doesn't really change. Across all home types right now, it's sitting at about 2,200 square feet, 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. The other thing to note, though, on these statistics is that the average days on market is dropping significantly. For the month of August, we were sitting at 12 days, which is very low. And again, this is including $1 million homes that sit on the market for a year. This is including, the very low priced homes that sell in just a matter of a couple of days, if not sooner. So if we looked at, kind of the median, I would guess it's probably in that 5 to 7 day mark for Salt Lake County for a single family home in the $400,000 price range. So being overall that it's 12 days is absolutely insane. A lot of real estate experts will say a healthy market is about 3 months, to sit on the market. That's kind of an average amount of time. But right now, with things going so crazy, it's definitely much higher than that, or much lower, I should say. And a lot of homes are selling very quickly. So, yeah, guys, interest rates are super low. Homes are still moving very quickly. We've got to be competitive. If you're looking to purchase a home, just be ready. Just get your ducks lined up. Make sure you've got your down payment ready. Make sure you talk to your lender. If you need references for that, I've got references here in Salt Lake City, of course, that can help you, that specialize in the relocation process, just like myself. Because of everything going on with the illness, there's actually additional restrictions that the bank has in place that are requiring you to provide additional financial information if you're making that move here, especially if you're changing jobs or if you're moving here without a job. They're going to be very specific as to what they're actually looking for. So just make sure to get in touch with me, and I can kind of guide you through that process to make sure that we've got everything lined up beforehand. So any questions? Anybody got any questions? This is just a quick market update for you. I'm here and happy to help. Let me make sure. Can you guys hear me? Sound? There we go. We got sound now. Move this over here. Make sure the microphone is working. Hooked up a new mic and want to make sure that it's working. So really appreciate you guys being here again. Let me know what questions you've got for here in Salt Lake City. We've got some really exciting videos coming out soon. We're gonna have some videos on pros and cons of living in Provo. We've got videos coming out about the 3 best cities to raise a family in. We've got more videos about how to invest here in the real estate market in Salt Lake. If you're interested in real estate investing, I've got a bunch of information I can share with you if that's kind of the avenue that you want to go. If you're just looking for a home for yourself, I'd love to help you there as well. So reach out to me, call me, text me, email me, just like I say in every single one of my videos. I'd love to hear from you and help you with that, help you find out what type of home and lifestyle that you're actually looking for. So don't hesitate to reach out. I'm going to pull up some statistics here and see if anybody's got questions about any particular markets. I want to pull up information here for Salt Lake County specifically. All right, so what we're seeing here in Salt Lake County, like we talked about in the last video, July 2,085 sales. The August information looks like it's still just slightly updating, but is very close to that. It's about 1,750 sales recorded so far. And the interesting thing here is that since February, homes on average in Salt Lake County have been selling for 100% of their average list price. So like I'd mentioned just a minute ago, if it's listed for 400 on average, it's selling for 400 as well. So something to just keep in mind there. It's going to be hard to find a deal. Even in August, it ticked up a little bit to 101%. So it shows the median price here was $383. That was the average sales price, the median sales price, I should say. Even though the median list price was only $380,000. So just something to keep in mind there. Salt Lake County specifically, average days on market was just 10 days, which is usually what we see in the spring. In the spring, we'll usually see somewhere between 7 and 15 days. But because of illness and everything going on, we did see a drop in that the days on market. We saw that drop to 16. 20 days on market, just depending on the month that you're actually looking at. So some information for you there. And Salt Lake County is on fire. Utah County is on fire as well. I expect to see a lot of growth in Utah County over the next couple of years. There's so much new construction happening out there that it's basically just kind of blowing up. So, it's going crazy. If you're looking for a place, let me know what you're looking for, and I'd love to help you get some information on that area specifically. Anybody have questions? Drop a comment in the question box below if you do have questions. Who's got questions? All right, guys. Well, if I don't see any questions pop up here in the next little minute, then I will go ahead and sign off. Like I said, this was just meant to be a quick market update for you, get you some information about kind of what's happening in the market and how things are progressing. So there's still great homes that are coming available. It just depends on the price range and the area that you're looking for. I've talked to people from all over the world. I've talked to people internationally a lot lately as well. People from Asia, a couple of people from Europe, the Middle East even. So I've had people from all over reaching out, trying to figure out how they can make the move here to Salt Lake City. So if you've got questions specifically, as always, call me, text me, email me, get a hold of me any way that you need to. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Matthew, thank you for the comment. Keeping up the momentum. Yes, trying to do that, trying to get as many videos out as possible. So just trying to do what I can to get it out there. Nancy, I'm coming to Utah for your birthday in October. What is the cabin rental? Well, that's a good question. It depends on what you're looking for and where. I've seen cabin rentals on like Airbnb go from anywhere, probably $75 to $90 per night. But of course, if you get a nicer, bigger cabin, it can range up to a couple $100s per night. So I'd say plan to spend somewhere between $100 and $150 per night for an Airbnb here. A lot of those Airbnbs that were on the market, last winter or even last summer have all kind of disappeared. A lot of those have been pulled off the market. A lot of them have been listed for sale. There's been a big change in kind of the Airbnb market, I'm assuming like in most areas. But the thing that's unique about Utah is that most people traveling to Utah who want to stay in an Airbnb, a lot of them are going down south to where the national parks are. So not a lot of people come to Utah during the summer, especially. Most of them are coming during the winter for skiing. But other than that, we don't have a ton of people that come here. So there's just not a huge Airbnb market like you'd find in some of the other cities. If you're near the beach or if you're near, really popular tourist destinations. So just something to keep in mind there for Airbnbs. The picking might be a little bit slim right now. Nancy's got a question. Where's the nicest place to visit for the Milky Way? I assume you mean the Milky Way galaxy. You're definitely going to want to be outside of the city. I'd say try to go somewhere in Summit or Wasatch County. You definitely don't have as much light pollution there, so you're going to get better night gazing there. That's also where most of the cabins will be as well. So you should be pretty much fine no matter where you end up out there. But definitely Summit or Wasatch County, which sit to the east of Salt Lake City. Matthew, coming to Salt Lake City to check out the area. What is the biggest difference between Eagle Mountain, Lehigh, American Fork versus Layton? Eagle Mountain, Lehigh, American Fork, that whole area, that's right in the middle of the tech corridor. So the industries are going to be much different. It's going to be much more, I guess you'd say, white collar, whereas Layton and Davis and Weber counties in general, in my opinion, tends to trend a little bit more blue collar. There's a lot of manufacturing and industrial jobs up north. So that's one thing to consider there. They're both equal amounts kind of suburban. So there's not much difference there. Layton will be a little bit cheaper. Also, Layton and the surrounding area is also very heavily military because of the Air Force base that's there. So you'll find a lot of military people there. But you're going to find that in Eagle Mountain, Lehigh, American Fork, there's just a ton of growth happening there. And it's just booming like crazy right now. So I'd say the demographic does trend just slightly lower there. As far as age goes, there's more kids, in my opinion. The schools are a little bit better as well. So some of the things to consider there, I'd say, Matthew, it kind of depends on what you're looking for. If you're moving to the area and you're not confined by, needing to be somewhere for work, then, I'd say get crystal clear on where you want to be based on the type of activities that you see yourself doing. If you see yourself going to the national parks, or if you see yourself going into the mountains, going fishing, boating, skiing, whatever, you might want to consider being a little bit further south. If you're looking for something a little bit cheaper, a little bit quieter, maybe up north's a little bit better for you there. Let's see. Matthew Hybing, if you lived on the west side of town, how long would it take you to get into the mountains? Is there a big price difference between west and east side of town because of the mountains? Yes, definitely. The east side is more expensive here. Anything east of I-15 is going to be generally more expensive, just kind of depending on the neighborhood. There's some exceptions to that, but overall, it will be more expensive, pretty much because of the proximity to the mountains. It's also, just like any town, you always kind of have the nice side of town. You've got the rough side of town. I don't know necessarily why. I think just kind of the east side just naturally transformed into the place where it was more desirable, and the people with money built bigger homes over the last 50, 60, 70 years. So it is more expensive there, but that's not to say that you can't get a nice home or get a nice, safe neighborhood out west. If you go south to like South Jordan, Riverton, Bluffdale, Harriman, somewhere in that southwest quadrant, it does still stay very nice. You've got a lot of nice big homes that are brand new, and they're still, reasonably affordable. So, it's not, I can't say that it's across the board that the east side is just the nicest. It really just kind of depends. If you're talking, east side of Salt Lake, then yeah, definitely the east side does tend to be a little bit more expensive and a little bit nicer overall. Your question about how long it would take to get to the mountains, it can be anywhere from probably 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how far you actually have to drive. And if you're driving on a Saturday, it's going to take a little bit longer just because of traffic. If you're trying to go skiing, it can be a little bit longer because of that as well. You've got, traffic getting up the canyons. But let's say you live in like West Jordan, you live at the very west end of that. It's going to take you about probably not close to 60 minutes unless there was like snow or is it, bad traffic or anything. But like on an average day, it's going to take you anywhere from 30 to I'd say probably 35 to 40 minutes to get from like the very far end of West Jordan all the way over to the eastern mountains. That's where most of your hiking is going to be, rock climbing, fishing, trails, etc. There are some trails on the West Mountains, but they're just not very popular at all. Much more mild mountains there on the west side. So just not as many people out there. So there's still some good stuff out there, but most people do go to the Wasatch Mountains. That's where you can get to the different areas to take the roads up the canyon. I hope I answered you guys' questions okay. We got 2 Matthews here. That's awesome. Let's see. I got another question. I wanted to move to Utah from Los Angeles. Would working remotely with a lender in Utah be required? Better for purchasing a home out there? I think it is. If you have a mortgage lender or you're working with a major bank such as Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, etc., they can lend in Utah as long as they're licensed here. Any major bank will be able to do it. If you're working with a mortgage broker, they'll just have to be licensed here in Utah to be able to make that happen. So just something to consider there. I do think it's better working, 1, with a mortgage broker, and also 2, working with somebody who's here local in Utah, just because they know the landscape, they know what the taxes will be, they know what average insurance is going to be, they know what the loan programs are here. They've got a little bit more pull versus somebody out of state, at least in my opinion. And, like I mentioned earlier in the video, there's a lot of little unique things that you need to know about when it comes to relocating. So you have to be careful with, if you're not changing jobs, it's generally pretty straightforward. But the banks are being super strict right now with what they're looking for in their loans. So you just got to make sure you've got all your finances lined up. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It can be done either way. But I do think it's better working with somebody here locally if possible. And again, I've got contacts here. So if you're worried about finding somebody, just let me know. I can get you hooked up with somebody. Let's see. Hello from Russia. Cool channel with useful information. That's awesome. You're the first person I've talked to from Russia. That's pretty cool. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. Matthew, your other question, how open is Utah with regards to COVID? Traveling there to check it out has been delayed because visiting a new place with small kids is not fun if a lot is closed. Yeah, totally get that, man. Everything is pretty much open here. It's kind of, it feels like it's back to normal. To be honest, I would say that everything is open. Some things do have weird hours where they open late or they close early or, weird things like that. But for the most part, everything is open. You just got to wear your mask anywhere you go, especially like going into a restaurant or going into pretty much any building. You're supposed to wear your mask, at least until you sit down to eat. So, that's one of those things that just consider there. But for the most part, everything's open. So you shouldn't really run into any delays or anything like that. It's kind of nice because a lot of stuff is actually less busy than it normally is. So it should just make it quicker and possibly a little bit better experience. So hope that helps. So Matthew, your question about initial house price, how much do we count on for overbidding purposes? It really depends. I'd say it depends on the price range, and it depends on the house, right? If they've priced the home less than what it should be, then you might have to overbid to bring it up to kind of where the market value actually really should be. So it does vary a little bit house to house, but I would say on average, plan on somewhere between $5,000 and $15,000. So it's not like we're in San Francisco where it's like, oh, you got to bid $100,000 over asking price or anything like that. But do just plan on, $5,000 to $15,000. We've also got some other methods to help you get your offer accepted without necessarily having to increase the offer price. So a lot of people think that going in at just the highest price is the only thing that matters, but that's not always the case. There's a lot of things that matter to the seller, such as it could be possibly the moving deadlines. It could be the deposit amount. It could be how tight your inspection deadline is. It could be your contingencies that you've got as part of the deal. There's a lot of different things you can really factor in there that will be more enticing to the seller to really open up the opportunity to get the home, even if you don't have the highest priced offer. What age do kids need to wear a mask? That's a good question, man. I've got a 1.5-year-old. He's definitely not wearing a mask. So people are much more forgiving with kids. They understand, hey, kids aren't going to, keep the mask on. I would say that probably a good age is like, I don't know, 4 or 5, I guess. Once they get to the age where they kind of understand why they're wearing it, I guess, and why they need to have it on, and will actually keep it on. So if you've got a 2-year-old and he's, there's no way he's wearing a mask, that's just the way it is. California requires it at 2. That is, that's a little crazy. Sounds like a good reason to get out of California. Got chased out of the zoo. Wow, that's surprising, even outside. That's pretty crazy. I would say you got a 2-year-old here, there's no way they're going to give you a hard time about it. I mean, I've seen kids 4, 5, 6 years old without masks on, and I'm sure some people would love to have every person with a mask on, but that's just kind of the reality of it is, kids don't understand why they don't want to keep it on. Getting kids to keep their shoes on is hard enough, right? So anyway, that's kind of what we're seeing here. Playgrounds are not roped off here. My wife and I just went to a place called Kidstopia in Bluffdale. Super cool place. It's like a giant indoor jungle gym. There was at least 100 kids there running around. Everybody's supposed to wear a mask. Those kids, a lot of the kids were wearing masks, but just a good place. So that was indoor, and it was not, roped off or anything like that. It wasn't closed. They just had, cleanings like every hour, every 2 hours. So you shouldn't run into any issues with that. Elaborate. Yeah, you're welcome, Matthew. Could you elaborate on the methods used for buying a house without just overbidding? Yeah, for sure. So kind of like I mentioned, you've got deposit amount. Having a higher deposit is attractive to the seller. You've also got the option to submit additional deposit after you do your inspection. So as part of the contract, you've got a couple of deadlines along the way. You've got an inspection deadline, and then you've got a financing deadline. So there's a way to put it in the contract where after you do your inspection, you may put up an additional deposit just to show the seller that you're really serious about buying the home and that you're not going to back out. But if you did, you'd potentially forfeit that deposit to them. So that's something that can kind of just show the seller you're a little bit more serious. Of course, the better financial situation can help. If you've got 20% down, you got 10% down, you got a really good credit score, or something like that, that always does help for an offer. Like I said, it could be how tight your inspection deadline is. Maybe you only ask for a week to get that done. Because from the seller's perspective, if you come in and do an inspection and then you decide that you don't like the house and you want to back out, they don't want that lost time, right? They don't want to wait 2 weeks for you to figure out that you're going to back out of the house. They'd rather have that get done, as soon as possible. So that's one little thing that can help there. I'd say probably the biggest thing that's helping right now is being flexible on moving deadlines. So if you've got flexibility to like live with family, or you're living in an Airbnb, or you can kind of move anytime, whatever that situation may be, if you've got flexibility to possibly let the seller move out later. Maybe they need to they need extra time to find a home for themselves. That could be another way to get, give them some extra time so that they can find that home and then you can move in later. So if you're willing to work with their deadlines, that can be enticing to them as well. So those are kind of the things that come to mind right off the top of the bat. Let's see. Yeah, those are probably the best things that I would say you could do on an offer. So let's see here. Eric's got a question. How's the job market? Employers starting to hire like most other places? I would say, honestly, the job market here is probably better than in most areas. I'm not actively in the job market, so I don't know for sure, but especially in higher paying jobs, I'd say that the market's very active. There's a lot of people hiring, especially for those remote or work from home positions. I know that there's a lot of opportunities for that as well. So, some industries or some businesses are in a wait and see type of place. But if you're looking for more of a professional, profession that's a higher paying job or higher skill level or whatever, I think there's more opportunity for that just because business is kind of mostly back to normal here. So I hope that helps, Eric. Let's see. General insights on first-time home buying programs. Yeah, so we don't have any first-time home buying programs like we used to. I mean, that honestly, those kind of all faded away like 5 or 6 years ago. So we don't have anything that's specifically for first-time home buyers. We do have some other programs that are more so 100% financing so that you don't need a down payment. I don't generally recommend those. I mean, it's an option to get into a home. It's definitely, I'd still say, hey, buy a home and get into it if you need to. But going the route of 100% financing is not the best financial decision you can make. If you've got 3.5% down for a down payment, you've got 5% down, maybe 20% down, whatever it may be, those are better options. You're just going to end up with a lower rate, lower fees. Your payment's going to be lower. So it's going to be better all the way around. You'll have a better chance of getting offers accepted. So definitely the route I would go is at least 3.5% down, maybe a 3% down on a conventional loan if you've got the credit to support it. So there are other options like that, but specifically for kind of like, what most people would say first-time home buyers is definitely what's called a Utah housing loan, which is basically just 100% financing. So you don't need a down payment. You can get into a home for a couple $1,000s as well. So I hope that helps a little bit. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by. Anybody else got any questions? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like I said earlier, we're closing in on 1,000 subs here on the channel. So that's pretty cool. Pretty excited about that. Love helping you guys. If you're thinking about making that move here, just reach out to me. Shoot me an email, call me, text me. No pressure. I'm here whenever you need me. I would love to chat with you specifically kind of about your individual situation. So don't hesitate to reach out if you've got questions. I don't see any other questions popping up here. I'll give it another second, see if anybody has a question. Matthew, thank you for the greetings there. You as well. Have a good long holiday weekend. It's supposed to be hot here in Salt Lake City. So we'll enjoy our likely last weekend of hot weather here locally. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by. I don't see any other questions. Your content's been helpful and interesting. Yeah, not a problem. So happy to help. I'm glad the videos have been helpful for you. If you ever have video suggestions, drop a comment here, drop it on one of my other videos. I always love making videos about what people are searching for. Everybody's got different questions that come to mind. So if you've got something particularly, let me know what you would like to see. Like I said, we've got some new videos coming out that are over the next couple of weeks, which are supposed to be pretty cool. Pros and cons to living in Provo, best cities to raise a family in, best areas to access the outdoors. We've got some about investing in real estate here as well. So really cool stuff there. They'll definitely be coming out here over the next couple of weeks. So keep an eye on that. Eric, thank you for the support. Glad it's been helpful. Thank you. I appreciate it. Are there many Rambler homes available? Yeah, there's tons of Ramblers. Ramblers are super popular here. Of course, there's more in some areas versus other areas. For instance, if you're looking in Sandy, there's a ton of Ramblers all over. If you're looking in West Jordan, there's a ton of Ramblers all over. So we've got tons of those homes. It really just depends on where you're looking and kind of the price range as well. So yeah, you can definitely find them. It's kind of just waiting for the right one to pop up. All right, guys, any more questions? Okay, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support, and we'll catch you in the next video. See ya.